We're just going to start the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Ask you guys' hearing aid turned up.
See if you can hear this.
Call Lamar City Council regular meeting to order Tuesday, January 3rd at 12 p.m. Do we have roll call, Bev?
Nelson,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Wick.
Yes. A different time zone.
Could we please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody in the chamber today to our council meeting and the representative from Lamar's Daily Sentinel, and particularly people that are watching over television. And I want to say Happy New Year to you all for the start of the year of 2017.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion been made to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. The first thing on the area today, or on the agenda, is we've got two hearings. And the first one is the Business Highway 75 Overlay Project. At its December 6, 2016 meeting, the council set this as a date and time to hear the public comment on the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for Business Highway 75 Overlay Project. The bids will be received and opened on January 10th, 2017 at 10 a.m. At this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask if there are any written or oral objections or comments to the project or adopting plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs. After hearing all the comments, the mayor will announce and receive the objections as closed. I need to share with you that the proposed schedule is the public hearing is January 3rd, which is today. The bid letting is going to be set on January 10th, 2017 at 10 a.m. The award to construction contract is going to be awarded on January 17th, 2017. The bid construction, there is no date at this time, but the end construction date is July 1st of 2017. I also need to let you know that the funding from the Lamar's Urban Renewal TIF revenues and from the Highway 75 Bypass Urban Renewal TIF revenues. So at this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask if there's any written or oral objections or comments to this hearing. I'll ask once again, is there any written or oral objections or comments to the hearing itself? If not, I'm going to declare the hearing closed. And any questions or comments from the council people?
Motion adopting resolution 17-01 to adopt plan specification, formal contract, estimate of cost of Business Highway 75 Overlay Project. Second.
Motion made and second, adopting resolution number 17-1 to adopt plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs for the Business Highway 75 Overlay Project. Can we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Nelson.
Yes.
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Wick.
Yes.
Knapp,
Yep.
Goodchild.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. The second hearing is on the Crescent Ridge paving project. At its December 6, 2016 meeting, the council set this as the date and time to hear public comment on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs for the 2017 Crescent Ridge paving project. The bids will be received and opened on January 19th, 2017 at 10 a.m. The proposed schedule on this one is, the public hearing is on January 3rd, which is today. The bid letting will be let on January 19th, 2017 at 10 a.m. Award to construction contract on February 7th, 2017. The bid construction date is not a time set, but the end construction is May 15th, 2017. The financial impact of this program will be funding from the special assessment partially and the balance from the road use tax. At this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask if there's any written or formal or oral objections or comments to this hearing. I will ask once again, is there any written or oral objections or comments to this particular hearing? If not, I'm going to declare the hearing closed. Are there any questions from the council?
I have one question, and that is
Okay.
simply this, with the in-construction date and having the possibility of the same contractor, is this in-construction date on this one maybe a little bit restrictive if the same contractor would happen to get both projects?
Pat and I talked, Pat Bickett is here.
Yeah, Pat
representing
Bickett's here, too.
Oakville. We talked that this project could easily be a fill-in for when they're waiting for things to cure or
Good enough.
for things to be ground
Okay.
on the white topping.
Good enough. That's my only question on it, was if.
Okay. Answer your question,
Yeah.
Clark?
For most of the contractors that are on the bid holders list, and we do have that, by the way. We've got a good list of contractors, hopefully they all bid. All of these contractors could probably pave this in a 1 or 2 day pour.
Okay, good enough. That was my only concern.
Motion adopting resolution 17-2 to adopt plan specification formal contract estimate of cost 2017 Crescent Ridge paving project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, adopting resolution number 17-2 to adopt plan specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs for the 2017 Crescent Ridge paving project. Can we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Rex Winkel?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Witt?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the general discussion. Today, we handle our general discussion by asking anybody in the audience that if they to step up to the podium and state their name and address. The council cannot make any decisions on the comments, but at least they're certainly always willing to listen. Wayne, do you have something?
Wayne Shepherd, Lamar's, Iowa. I'm here representing the Veterans Memorial Park. I'm the chair of the park. The park, if you're not familiar with it, it's been around about 11 years, but we have a board of 7 people. I'd like to tell you who those are. Bud Vanderwall, Patrick Murphy, Gary Kuntz, Jim Rolfus, Jack Fruce, Tom Tanoff, and myself. We consist of the board that takes care of the Veterans Memorial. I'll read a statement here. It's from the Veterans Memorial Park Board to the City of Lamar's Mayor, Council, Admin, and staff. On behalf of the board, thank you for your support and help when needed with maintenance with the Plymouth County Veterans Memorial Park in Lamar's. We appreciate the sincere help we receive from Brad Epling, Scott Knight, and their departments, Greg Gangler, Campbell Electric, and all others who work with us to maintain and support this educational and historical Veterans Memorial. Thank you again. Working together is always important, needed, and enjoyable. There's plenty of work that's being done at the Veterans Memorial that I think that the citizens need to understand, as well as the people that work for the city. We do appreciate that immensely, and the park now is being used as a tourist addition to when buses come to town to tour, and we're very happy to be part of that, to put programs on to educate people, as well as the schools in Lamar's. We educate those too, but it's really enjoyable to have those people come from out of town. We've got many favorable comments on the park, and if the public, some of the public's never been up there, they ought to go up and take a look at it. It's adjacent to West Mars Memorial, which is a very nice park, and so they're married together up there. And I think it's important. This community has a lot to offer, and that's one of the major items that we have to offer. It's not a park like a lot of other parks. Like I said, it's educational. We have many monuments up there that represent the different wars. You have information by each one of those monuments, so it gives you a little more of what's happening. We also listed up there the 143 people that were killed from Plymouth County are on those different monuments from the different wars. So that's pretty important too, that people understand that it's not just Lamar's, so it's the Plymouth County. But Lamar's Wasmar Post number 241, we kind of maintain that one because we live here, we're right here. So if there's any questions or anything that you would like to know about that park, feel free to call one of us because we want to make sure that you get that information and that the park is viable, it's working, we try to keep it up. Since Don Law and Rich Schultz started that park, we wanted to carry on what they put in place up there and what you as city councils helped build up there, as well as city administration and the staff. So again, I thank you, and we really appreciate that.
Wayne, I just want to say one thing too also. I've been very involved in that program, and we appreciate you coming and thanking us for that, for what we do on it. And I can just assure you this, that I've been very heavily involved in the tourism program from the word get-go, and I've met every bus up there personally that's taken that tour. And it's one of the highest highlights on the tour of everything we have to offer here in town. One of the reasons it is because I've seen veterans on that bus take that tour, and Wayne and Jim Rolfus is always there when we pull up with the bus, and they explain the whole program. But the tearjerker is when Jim Rolfus says, "Come visit my grave." And, I mean, that, people really appreciate that. And that word is getting out all over, by the way, Wayne. So thanks for your comments and backing up the park.
Thank you.
Is there any other,
It's nice to see you at a council meeting again too, Wayne. That's been a few years since you've been here at the council meeting, you know? It's kind of nice to see you back, you know?
I tried to cut it.
You did a great job.
I was going to say, that speech was a lot shorter than you're used to.
That was very nice. You might want to give your son a few.
At least I'm not asking for much.
Even better.
Good enough. Let's move on. Is there any other business from the chamber? If not, I'll go through the Thumbs Up Award.
Thumbs Up Award to our fire and rescue. They had quite a variety and assortment of items this last month, and I think it was handled with a great deal of professionalism, and you don't even have to talk about it if you don't want to. So thank you very much.
Not unless there's any questions. Railroad should hopefully be here late today or tomorrow to put a signal up so we can open the tracks again. But they're over there looking at it right now, so we'll see how it goes.
But thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you,
Not only
Wayne.
for that, but the windstorm and everything like that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and your group.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that is, in that whole deal, I was out of town, but, you know, it's pretty evident, and Dave, you gave credit to all the departments that chipped in. Street, I think, water, everybody got involved in those efforts. So it is a team effort, and I think the city, once again, shines pretty brightly in team effort, from the police to everybody, so you bet.
It wouldn't bother me this year if we didn't have to implement any part of that disaster plan at all, Clark. It wouldn't bother me one bit.
Thank you, Clark. Rex?
I can't add, that's exactly what I was going to say, is the two of them.
I'll pass, thank you.
I think any opportunities on fillets and discounts, they're done as of now. Okay, moving on to consent items. All items listed on the consent award or agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Today, we've got 5 of them. First one is approval of December 20th, 2016 regular meeting minutes. The number 2 is a list of bills for period ending 12/31/16. Number 3 is a renewal of the beer permit, liquor license, and outdoor service area for our golf course. Number 4 is a designation of official newspaper for 2017. And number 5 is the mayor, council, and staff assignments for 2017. Is there anyone want to pull any of these before we vote on them?
I just simply have a question on 4, I don't want to pull it. I'm not opposed to making the Sentinel our designated newspaper, but are there new rules, Scott, that we've been told about notices and they didn't qualify for certain reasons? Is that still okay? You get the question?
Lamar's Daily Sentinel does not qualify for publication of anything to do with your capital improvement program where you're going out for bids.
Okay.
That has changed statewide, and so we're following the new procedure as of 2016. But all other notices is pretty much why you're approving Lamar's Daily Sentinel. So it's public hearings and it's
Agendas.
really any other public notice.
Okay, so that they're okay being this,
Yes.
is what I'm asking. Okay, good enough.
Other than for construction projects.
Right, for bid lettings. Okay, all right.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve a list of bills or motion for ending of 12/13, 1 through 5. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to the action items. We have one today, and it's a list of fees, license, and charges. Attached is a list of various fees, charges, and license, which show charges as follows. Number 1 is the current 2016 fees of license and charges, and number 2 is the proposed 2017 fees for license and charges. The committees and staff recommendations are listed on the attached spreadsheet. So have you had an opportunity to look over all the many charges and many things we've had here? Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question on, under police charges in red, I assume this is a new charge for escort for traffic control for funerals?
Stu? No, Stu can,
Okay.
would you address that, Stu?
That is not traffic control for
Yeah,
funerals.
yeah.
The funerals are exempt. The traffic control charge is for when we're moving a building, and it's going to
Okay.
take several cars, several hours. We may need to call people into work just to cover that. So we're following, the proposal is to follow what DOT charges the same, and that's $50 an hour per car that is used to control traffic while we're moving a large building to try and avoid people running into those buildings.
I misinterpreted that when I read it.
I'm glad you clarified it.
Well, it gave me an opportunity to talk to the funeral director, so,
No, there's no charge for funerals,
good,
and no intention to do that.
very good,
Does that answer your question, Ken?
yeah.
Any other comments or?
Mayor, it shows on that fees beyond 2017 for some charges, but we're only approving charges for 2017, correct?
Just a minute, I'm going to let Scott answer that question.
Let me, I'd like to make a recommendation as well, and then I'll clarify. My recommendation would be not to increase anything that's shown in red except adding the police escort fee that was just discussed,
Okay,
and then adding those additional fees under ambulance that are not, currently not listed, but need to be listed so that we can charge accordingly. So the one fee under police and numerous fees under ambulance is what my recommendation today is. Point of clarification, I'm making recommendations in sewer and water, as I mentioned last time. And they go from 2017, 2018, and 2019. That is what I'm recommending, but you cannot act on those today. Those are established by ordinance, and therefore, I would not ask for a motion, but ask for kind of a nod of the head of the majority of you, if you want to pursue that, and if you do, we would start that process either next meeting or next month, and we would further recommend that those fees be implemented on July 1st of 2017. So we've got some time, but we also have to do it by ordinance. So you cannot touch them.
Scott, I would like to address those fees, not before February.
Okay,
I'm talking water and wastewater.
that's okay with us.
Okay.
Everybody in sync with
Is that
that?
agreeable?
Totally fine.
Is there a nod of heads that
I mean, we're gonna
we
go,
should
and
at least go through the
we're gonna go
process?
through 3 different council meetings.
You'd be going through 3 readings?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that everybody knows.
Yep.
Yep.
So no increase in fire,
No.
No on what, Bev?
No increase in fire.
fire fees.
No increase in
None
fire.
of the convention stuff, none of the
I have
fire
some
stuff.
increases in there.
But that's my recommendation, you guys can do.
Yeah. You're not, you're going with what we've recommended in fire,
No,
no increase?
no increase.
The hazmat part is statewide billing. That's set by state code. That would be the only one that would move it up, follow the state code. Otherwise, the other one's up to you. I only have 4, I think.
You have 3 that are under hazardous material?
Yeah, that's under the Code of Iowa 455 that's done state of Iowa wide. Those rates are set state of Iowa wide.
We've got an asterisk on it.
Yeah.
I stand corrected on those, I'd recommend those.
Any other questions? Now, do you want this in the form of a motion, Scott, or?
It'd be just a simple motion to approve the list of fees, licenses, and charges then, either per my recommendation or some other version, whatever
Yeah,
you
it's getting a little confusing. The motion's a little confusing, because we want to keep Dave's 3 hazmat increases, and then per your recommendation, or just put that as part of your recommendation.
Just put it in there that you approve the list of fees, licenses, and charges with the 3 increases in fire, 1 increase in police, and the whole list of increases in the ambulance.
So moved.
Second?
You formulated.
Should be a resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, man, now we gotta have a motion and a roll call and everything, since it's a resolution.
Yeah.
She's up to 3 already.
17-3.
Going for the
Yeah.
record.
Motion, okay. Has there been a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion been made and second to adopt a resolution number 17-3, approving the list of fees with the exception of the hazmat 3,
With you.
with the addition of the hazmat, and the list, what was the other one, Scott? The ambulance?
3 in fire,
Yes.
1 in police,
1 in police, that's what it
and
was.
then all listed in ambulance.
Ambulance. Okay. Can we have a roll call on that, Ben?
Knapp,
Yes.
Rexwinkle,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes?
Goodchild.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, thanks a lot. Moving on to discussion. Steve, anything in discussion that you,
Nothing right now.
Lark?
I would like to thank a lot of the city and the city staff for their condolences and flower arrangement for my mom's passing. Rex testified to this a couple years ago when his mom died, and it is very nice to have the support and the kind words of people that you're surrounded by. So I do appreciate that greatly. The second thing that I wanted to just touch bases on was I wanted to explain something. Everybody knows that I've had objections to Crescent Ridge in the past, and I voiced those concerns several times. The reason I voted yes today on Crescent Ridge paving is because I feel that once those concerns and oppositions to any projects, then it's important to move forward as a group, move forward as a city, and understand that, you know, people didn't agree. So that's why I do that. I just wanted to explain that, because it's not wishy-washy. It's just a matter of, this is what the majority has decided, and I say we move forward on this project. So I just wanted to say that, explain that.
It's things like that that make this council very, very good council.
Yep. So
Voice their opinions.
That's it.
Rex?
And pass to the,
I'll pass.
Okay.
Thank you.
Scott?
I think mailed, unattached to your agenda, but mailed to you, Paul, was the updated 2017 CIP. I went through that in a fair amount of detail last time, so I'm just going to generally say 3 columns was added to the list that I presented to you last time. A column labeled design, a column labeled bid, and a column labeled cost. And to the extent that I knew the cost, I inserted it, and to the extent that I knew who was going to construct it is under bid, who was going to design it is under design. There's a few question marks, a few blanks. That simply signifies that we don't have that quite figured out yet. Some are listed with 3, 4 names inserted. That too, we don't have quite figured out yet. But a lot of it is already known, I guess is the moral of the list. And so that's kind of the basis by which we will proceed in 2017. And if any of you have any questions regarding that list, it's pretty comprehensive. As I mentioned last time, it's 66 projects are represented there. And a lot of times, there will be multiple facets with a certain project that will actually act like more than one project in one. And so, but we will operate it just like we have in the past. If it falls over the bid thresholds as listed by the Iowa legislature in the statute, it will be coming back to you. If it is part of the budget, we will simply proceed. If it requires your approval, we'll bring it back. So that's how I've been operating. That's how I will continue to operate in 2017, unless you would like to see it differently. It's a mouthful, just like 2016. It'll be a busy year, but I've got the help of a lot of people, as you can see by in the design column and in the bid column. There's a lot of different people, different contractors, and different consultants that we're using. So we're kind of trying to purposely spread things around, give everybody a fair shot at it, get a lot of people involved so we can get more done by delegating it to more people. Any questions?
Any questions for Scott?
The storm sewer inlets, I know, is always an ongoing program, but on Plymouth Street, now that we're done with the water main and all the mess that we've had all summer, have anybody looked at those storm inlets on Plymouth Street, right west of Bob's? Because it seems that both of those are squeezed down to nothing, either through paving or collapsing. And again, we gather a lot of water down there every time it rains, so.
Yes. I asked Scott tonight to start review of that existing system. Storm sewer is under Public Works and Streets, so that's Scott tonight. And he just the other day showed me how he has put together mapping that shows the existing system and how it runs and the sizes of the various pipes. And I told him in the new year here very soon, we'll have to sit down and do an analysis of the existing pipe to see the adequacy of the design. I think it's pretty self-evident by what Ken said, that the design is lacking. Now, that being said, we only design for a 10-year storm frequency typically in any city USA. Lamar's is no different. So you can imagine anything greater than a 10-year storm, you're going to have ponding at that intersection. However, that being said, I think a couple of simple maneuvers on that system could possibly create a lot of relief. And so we are going to study it fully, and I will do the hydrology and hydraulics on that system to see how adequate or inadequate it is. And I'll also come forward with some recommendations for improvements.
To dovetail off of that, just a quick minute. In the last 10 years, how many 100-year flood situations have we had?
Yeah, that's kind of open for debate, and quite frankly, nationwide. Because if you believe in global warming, the storms are getting more intense and more frequent. And there seems to be some legitimacy to that. But as the storms increase, then all of the monographs that us engineers use for hydrology purposes, they might be outdated. They might be inaccurate. And that is beyond my scope.
Well, the other thing.
I've got to use what I've got, and until the U.S. Geodetic Survey people change those monographs, I have to use what they put out.
Right. The other thing that I wanted to say was, if we're spending time on storm sewers, like Scott Knipe is spending time, when we update those, we are making them bike safe, right? At any any.
Absolutely.
Because I know there's some, but we might as well not do it twice. And I know our bike people, and we're trying to build kind of a bike system, that those inlets need to be bike tire safe, so.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely is the answer. We made the conversion to a bike-safe grid.
What is that, a skew?
Yes.
Is it? Okay, all right.
Any other questions for Scott? Scott, I want to compliment you for, on behalf of the council, for the design plan that you've laid out for 2017. I think it shows where this bus is headed for in the 2017 year, and who you've got and laid out as far as working as engineers and contractors and everybody else. So, good job. Okay, we're under annual reports. Scott, you want to handle those, or?
Greg is going to step to the podium with his code enforcement and building department report.
Good afternoon. Everybody should have a copy of my annual report. Before I delve into it, I just want to say I've got 10 months on the job, so we're pushing a year. I just want to thank, the entire city departments I've worked with: streets, public works, water, wastewater, obviously the staff here at City Hall, Joe at the city attorney, Scott and Jason, and I can honestly say everybody has been extremely helpful for me during this past year. If it wasn't for their assistance and their guidance, man, it would just be a struggle. I think Jason obviously deserves the special thanks. I go see him almost daily with new questions or new obstacles that come up, and he never gets frustrated or kicks me out of his office. There's times I think, wow, I'm getting it. I'm finally getting it. And it wouldn't be an hour later, something else comes up that I just don't understand, or I need to ask somebody. Scott made the comment within the first week after I was hired. He says, yeah, I expect it'll take you 5 years before you really have a grasp on it. I'm thinking, no, there's no way. Now, today, I'm thinking, yeah, it'll be 5 years. So I just want to say a special thanks to all the city staff, that I work with. It's just been extremely helpful for me during the past year. In front of you is,
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Reciprocal praise, though. He has done an excellent job in the short 10 months that he's been here, and I can't be happier with the selection. So thank you for everything.
thank you so much also. All right, we'll hit our 2016 annual report. I'm not going to read each and every single one of them. I'll just kind of hit the highlights. On page 1 is kind of showing my 2016 year in review. At the very bottom paragraph, it does kind of indicate the numbers may be slightly skewed, just because we had a change in transition in the code department. I didn't know how Jason was doing things. I was kind of developing my own little plan. Then most of the numbers are going to be fairly accurate, with the exceptions of possibly the concerns and complaints area. It's going to be somewhat off a little bit, but hopefully next year's numbers will be a lot more accurate, but it's close. It's really close. But anyway, the concerns and complaints came in at 175, and that's from March of this year to the end of the year, which is up 33 from last year. The nuisances notices, you'll see in my column is blank. Jason showing 255 from last year. But if you look at the total nuisances at the bottom of that area, it's showing 352 last year, and from March to this year was 282, which is minus 70, but we're short a couple months in there also. And again, it's just a matter of the difference of how we are doing things, documenting things. Abatement costs were down substantially this year by about $1,500, or correction, I'm sorry, $1,183 from what we paid out last year to have certain jobs done. However, I'm showing revenue that we will or have already collected through the course of special assessments. And that's meaning, like, if we have to go out and do somebody's snow removal property or mow their lawn or something, they get a fine attached to that because we have to hire somebody to do that. Well, through the course of this year, we will have at some point generated $3,000 in revenue. Building inspections are pretty much exactly the same, just showing a -1 for this year. Urban revitalization is down 20 from last year. However, I've got about a dozen homes that in the next couple of months will probably be completed, and those dozens will be coming in this probably the first quarter of this year. But anyway, from the inception of the adoption of the urban revitalization tax exemption program, we have got 121 applications that have been turned in. The third page is showing our 10-year construction history. It's got showing 2 graphs on here. The blue is the single-family dwellings, and the tan-colored or brown-colored is our commercial 10-year construction history. The line graph at the bottom of the page is really showing our trend of what we've seen over the past year. It's just a better depiction of what we've got going on. And with the exception of that major dip in 2008 and 2009, we've actually seen a steady increase in the residential, all the way to the current, which we matched last year's single-family dwelling construction at 26. I can see that trend staying at the very least, very stable, between that 20 to 25 or 26 in the coming years, just because of the interest rates and stuff. I would definitely like to see them go up, but at least we're on the increase and or staying stable. And the same trend is showing in the commercial industry, with the exception of 2012, where it was a pretty drastic reduction. We've been fairly stable over the last several years, between that 5 and 7 commercial projects being done. Permits issued on the next page. I've issued or not me personally, but between Jason and myself, 115 total permits issued for the entire year, generating just about $91,000 in permit revenue, and construction valuations at just about $20.5 million. So that's up substantially from last year. We've increased by over $20,000 in revenue and $5 million in construction valuation. So I mean, that's showing what our trend has been doing, and it's been stable and steady and increasing, so that's just good. The next page is showing strictly the residential fees that have been collected over the last 10 years. With this past year, residential fees generated $33,000 in revenue to the city, and construction valuation at just short of $6 million, $5.8 million. So again, we're seeing some really good numbers in the residential. And in the commercial fees, the very last page, showing $46,000, almost $47,000 in revenue, which is a drastic increase over the previous years. The biggest contributor of that would be the huge NORAM construction, which took place, which you aren't going to see those types of construction taking place every year. This was just one of those big years. And then the construction valuations up to $13.5 million, which is, from our next biggest number, almost $5 million increase from any previous year. So we've got really a good trend going on. I can see it staying stable and steady for several years. Hopefully, the town will continue to grow, and we'll just keep issuing out more permits. So any questions you can ask, or
Any
feel
questions
free
for Greg?
to see me.
If not, thanks a lot, Greg. We appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Scott, is there any other reports today?
No other report.
Okay. Jason?
I'm just going to just remind the public that, I know it's being announced on the radio and advertised, but Twig and Grass site is open this Friday and Saturday, mainly to get rid of Christmas trees, if people need to get rid of Christmas trees. And if you have anything left over from the windstorm that we had a week ago. What is the hour? 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday and Saturday.
I want to compliment whoever come up with this, but the next day, after that windstorm, it was right on the radio and the press and everything that we did reopen the tree place out there to dump, so.
Yeah. Ken just brought something up too. It's a new year, so dog tags are required and are available. City Hall or either one of the vets in town.
Does that include cats?
No.
No. Okay, anything else?
Before we motion to
Yes.
adjourn, can we make a motion to buy a clock for back there? It's driving me nuts for like the last 6 months.
We got to go through budget time.
Yeah. And we got to see,
Build one.
I want to see what the progress is on the old one.
Motion to adjourn?
Second, motion made to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
See, Jason, you thought you were going to get by, didn't you?